I want to ask you something, and I want you to actually think about it for a second. When is the last time you wake up feeling genuinely rested? Not just I slept 8 hours type of rested, but actually restored, clear-headed, ready to go. When is the last time you finished a workout and bounced back in a day instead of 3? When is the last time your body actually responded when you put in the work, instead of feeling like you are fighting every single step? Because if those things have slowly faded and you can't actually explain why, your diet is decent, you are exercising, you are not doing anything obvious wrong, there's very good chance growth hormone decline is part of what's happening. And it starts earlier than most people realize. For a lot of people, it's already measurably low in their mid-30s. By 40, 50 or 60, the gap between where your levels are and where they were at the peak is significant. Sermorelin is a peptide that a growing number of people are using to address that gap. And if you have been researching it, you have probably seen two complete opposite stories. One side says it changed everything, their energy, sleep, body composition, how they feel overall. Whereas the other side says that they spent months on it and felt nothing. Both of these people are telling the truth. And in this video, I'm going to explain exactly why, who this actually works for, who it doesn't, and what the science says, what I see in the patients at MyFitMed, and whether it's actually worth your time and money. No hype, no shopping list, just the real answers. Stay with me, because the reason most people get this wrong is something I'm going to explain in the first few minutes. And once you understand it, everything else makes sense. Let's start with the mechanism, simply, clearly, because this is where most people have the wrong picture and it leads to the wrong expectation. Sermorelin is not a growth hormone. It does not replace growth hormone. What it is a synthetic version of growth hormone releasing hormone, GHRH, the signal your hypothalamus naturally produces to tell your pituitary gland to make growth hormone. It's a 29 amino acid peptide that mimics that signal. So when you take Sermorelin, you are not putting a hormone in the body from the outside. You are sending your body a message, and your body is responding to that message by producing its own growth hormone internally. Why does that distinction matter so much? Because when your body controls the output, it uses its own feedback loop. It produces what it determines is appropriate. It won't overproduce. It won't suppress the natural axis the way exogenous HGH can over time. The safety profile is fundamentally different. This is one of the primary reasons functional medicine and anti-aging clinics have moved towards peptides like Sermorelin rather than synthetic HGH for long-term optimization. Now, growth hormone doesn't do everything directly. A lot of its most important downstream effect comes through IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor 1, which is produced in the liver in response to growth hormone stimulation. IGF-1 is what drives muscle protein synthesis, fat metabolism, cell repair, and a cascade of other processes. So the chain is, Sermorelin stimulates the pituitary. The pituitary releases growth hormone. The growth hormone then triggers IGF-1 production in the liver, and IGF-1 drives the actual changes you feel and see. Understanding that chain is important because it tells you why this takes time. You are working upstream of the result. You are not injecting the results directly. Now, this is the section I think matters the most because it explains both the failure and the successes. Here is the single biggest reason people try Sermorelin and come away disappointed. They expect it to behave like a drug that overrides their biology. They expect it to work the way that stimulant works or the way anabolic steroid works. Something that forces a result regardless of what else is happening in their body. Sermorelin doesn't work that way, not at all. Sermorelin works by amplifying what your body is already doing. It signals multiplier, not a bulldozer. And that means the foundation underneath it matters enormously. If your sleep is consistently poor, your growth hormone output during Sermorelin treatment will be blunted because growth hormone is predominantly secreted during slow wave sleep. So if you're sleeping 4 or 5 hours a night, you are actively limiting the treatment's effectiveness at the most fundamental level. If your nutrition is chronically inflammatory, high processed food, high sugar, significant alcohol use, you are creating a hormonal environment that works against the very signal Sermorelin is trying to amplify. If you are sedentary, you are removing one of the most powerful natural growth hormone stimuli, which is physical training, strength training. This is not a criticism. This is a physiology. And it means that the people who try Sermorelin without addressing those foundations are essentially trying to fill a bucket with the holes in the bottom. The signal is going in. The condition to translate that signal into the results are not there. People who see dramatic results from Sermorelin are almost always people who already have a basics in reasonably order. And they are using this as an optimization layer on top of the functional foundation. Or they are people who commit to improving those things alongside starting the protocol. If your lifestyle is working against you, Sermorelin will feel like an expensive disappointment. If your lifestyle is working with you, Sermorelin can produce changes that feel genuinely significant. So who is the right person for Sermorelin? Let me be specific because this matters. The people who respond best are typically in the 35 to 65 age range. Though I have seen meaningful response in people in their late 20s who have had early hormonal shift. They tend to be people who are already putting in genuine effort, training reasonably consistently, eating with some intentionality, and noticing that their effort is no longer producing the result it used to. Their body has changed, not because they stopped trying, but because something in a hormonal environment shifted underneath them. The symptom cluster I see most often in this patient is very recognizable. Sleep that has become lighter and less restorative, even when the hours are there. Recovery from physical activity that takes noticeably longer than it used to. Stubborn fat accumulation, particularly around the midsection, that wasn't there 5 years ago and doesn't respond the way it used to. An energy baseline that feels lower, brain fog or reduced mental sharpness, a general sense that body isn't recovering the way it should. These are not random, unrelated complaints. They are downstream effects of declining growth hormone and IGF-1. And when you address that root signal with something like Sermorelin, you are working on the system that connects all of them. When Sermorelin tends to deliver for this person, when the protocol is managed well, meaningfully improved sleep quality, deeper, more restorative, more consistent, improved recovery from training, gradual but real body composition changes, particularly a reduction in visceral fat over time, which is one of the most significant health outcomes you can achieve. Better skin texture and elasticity as collagen synthesis improves. As for many people, a cognitive lift, a sharper thinking, a better focus that they didn't even fully realize they have lost until it came back. These are not overnight changes. The honest timeline is 3 to 6 months for the full picture to develop. But for the right person, the changes are real and measurable, both in how they feel and in their IGF-1 labs. Let me be just as direct about who this does not work well for, because I think intellectual honesty here is more valuable than just telling you what you want to hear. If you are primarily looking for dramatic, rapid body transformation, significant muscle gain in short period, the kind of physique change you associate with anabolic compounds, Sermorelin is going to disappoint you for sure. This is not what it does. It works on a biological timeline and through your own physiology. The changes are real, but they are gradual. If fast and dramatic is the goal, you are looking at the wrong tool entirely. If you are very young, mid-20s or younger, with natural healthy growth hormone level, you are unlikely to see significant effects. Sermorelin works by stimulating production through an already functional system. If that system is already operating well, adding more signal doesn't meaningfully change the output. The therapeutic benefit is for people whose level has declined enough that restoring the signals produces a noticeable functional difference. If you're not willing or able to make the lifestyle foundation work in your favor, consistent sleep, reasonable nutrients, some form of regular physical activity, Sermorelin will underperform. I'm going to pretend otherwise. This is a tool that amplifies what your body can do. It requires your body to have something worth amplifying. And if your expectations are based on what you have seen from HGH or anabolic steroid use, either in others or in content online, you need to recalibrate. Sermorelin does not produce those effects on that timeline. It's a different class of intervention entirely, completely different thing. One of the most useful thing I can tell you about Sermorelin is where it fits relative to the other peptides in this space. Because a lot of people are asking, is Sermorelin worth it? When the real question is Sermorelin right tool for my specific situation at specific time? Sermorelin's strength is broad, systemic optimization, sleep, recovery, body composition, skin, cognitive function, long-term anti-aging support. It works through the growth hormone and IGF-1 axis, and its benefits are wide-ranging but gradual. It is a long game tool. If your primary goal is specifically targeted fat loss, particularly stubborn fat or visceral fat, AOD 9604 is worth understanding. AOD is a fragment of growth hormone specifically engineered for fat mobilization. It works on a narrower target but can be more direct for that specific outcome. If visceral fat and body composition are primary concern, especially in context to HIV-associated lipodystrophy, where it's actually FDA approved, but also increasingly studied more broadly, Tesamorelin is a more targeted GHRH analog that has shown strong clinical data specifically on visceral fat reduction. If cognitive performance and brain health are your primary focus, sharper thinking, mood stability, neuroprotection, peptides like Semax operates on a completely different pathway and are more directly relevant to that goal. The point is not that Sermorelin is better or worse than this. It's that each has a primary strength, and the best protocol is the one that matches the tool to the specific gap you are trying to address. At MyFitMed, this is exactly the conversation we have with every patient before recommending anything. Not what's the most popular peptide right now, but what does your specific biology actually needs. Let's talk about safety directly, because I think this is where a lot of content in this space either overclaim or underclaim. Compared to exogenous HGH, Sermorelin's safety profile is meaningfully better in several important ways because your body controls the output through its own feedback mechanism. You don't get the sustained supraphysiologic growth hormone level that carries a long-term risk associated with HGH use. Things like acromegaly features with long-term high-dose HGH or the glucose metabolism disruption that comes with chronically elevated growth hormone from an external source. The risk of water retention is lower. The risk of significant glucose dysregulation is lower. The effect is shorter acting and more regulated. That said, Sermorelin is not without potential side effects, and I want to be honest about what they are. The most commonly reported is injection site reaction, mild redness, itching, or swelling at the injection site, which is usually transient. Some patients experience mild fluid retention early in the treatment as IGF level begins rising. This typically resolves as body adjusts. Some people notice a transient flushing sensation after injection. In some patients, particularly those with underlying insulin sensitivity issue, some monitoring of blood glucose is warranted. These are generally manageable with proper medical oversight, appropriate dosing, and gradual titration. They are not reason to avoid the peptide. They are the reason to work with a provider who knows what they are doing, monitor your labs, and adjust your protocol as your body changes. IGF-1 level should be tracked. Dosing should be calibrated to your individual response. This is not the medication you self-administer based on the forum post and never revisit. So here is the real answer to the question this whole video has been building towards. Is Sermorelin worth it? For the right person, yes. Meaningfully, yes. If you are in the 35 to 65 range, you recognize the symptom cluster I described: sleep quality declining, recovery slowing down, fat accumulation despite efforts, energy and mental sharpness lower than they used to be, and you have a fundamental lifestyle foundation to build on. Sermorelin can produce real, measurable, sustained improvement in how your body functions. Not dramatic transformation on a short time, genuine optimization of how you feel, recover, sleep, and age over 6-month horizon and beyond. The IGF-1 data tracks the clinical experience. When this is managed properly, levels move into a therapeutic range. Patient feels it. It's not placebo. It's biology working the way it's supposed to when you give it the right signal. For a wrong person, no. If you're chasing fast, dramatic change, if your foundation are not in place, if your levels are already healthy, if your expectations are set by what you have seen on anabolic compounds, you will be disappointed. Not because the peptide doesn't work, because you are asking it to do something it was never designed to do. Sermorelin is a precision tool. Precision tool performs when you use them correctly for the right application with proper guidance. When you use them imprecisely, wrong person, wrong expectation, no monitoring, no foundation, they feel like a waste of money, and honestly, they probably are. If anything in this video resonated with you, if you recognize yourself in a symptom I described, or if you've been curious about peptides and wondering where to actually start, here is what I want you to do. Don't make this decision based on the forum thread. Don't make it based on what worked for someone else's body without knowing anything about yours. The reason results vary so much with peptide is that biology is individual. What's working spectacularly for one person may be the wrong tool entirely for another. The starting point is always understanding your specific situation, your labs, your symptom, your goal, your health history, and building from there. At my clinic, that's exactly the conversation we have before recommending anything. If you want to know whether Sermorelin or any other peptide is actually right fit for your biology and your goals, book a consultation at MyFitMed if you're in Texas. The link is in description. We'll look at the full picture and give you the honest answer, not a sales pitch. And if this video gave you a real value, share it. Forward it to someone who's been dealing with the symptoms I described and doesn't know where to start. Most people are navigating this space with no real guidance, and a video like this can genuinely change the quality of conversation they have next. Drop a comment below and let me know where you are. Just starting, mid-protocol, or still deciding. I read them all. I'll respond. I'll see you in the next video.